Good evening, good evening, good evening once again, and you are all warmly welcome to another edition of the SANKOFA Shift, where we retrieve the past in order to build the future. And as you can see, we want to shift from elements of the past because we believe that there were some good aspects of the past, but there were also some bad aspects. So we are not just embracing the past in its totality. We are retrieving the past, learn from the past, and make things better against the future. Last week, we started with a statement or an extract from the book by one of the governors of Nigeria in the person of Frederick Lord Lugard, with a book titled The Dual Mandate. And it was to stimulate our minds that though there have been a lot of external presentations of change, how things were 100 or 50 or 200 years ago compared to now, things have not really changed when you look at it from within. In other words, the internal values of our forefathers have not really changed, though there have been a lot of external changes rather. Now, today we want to look at why. What is really the fabric or the framework that undergirds the black man's disposition or his culture? This is what we call worldview or mindset. The generic term is mindset, and sometimes the more technical term is worldview. In simple terms, worldview is the view of the world of reality, how you see the world. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. And I have contended that the greatest problem of our continent or nation, Ghana, is the weakness or the error of our worldviews. We have a serious mindset issue. And until we rewire or reorient our mindset, there is no policy, there are no systems that will gain sustainable traction of change. Any attempt at change will fail in the course of time until we reorient our minds. Now, before the coming of the white man, you see, I've been saying before the coming of the white man, so that we are not in a haste to blame the white man, but rather to appreciate that this was our operational culture even before the coming of the white man. The very mindset that we had as Africans, it was called Spiritism. And this is in other words, it is also called paganistic worldview. So you can call it paganistic worldview, but I would love to call it Spiritism. Spiritism was our cultural base even before the coming of the white man. What is Spiritism? Now, in Spiritism, life was considered essentially religious. That is to say that in Spiritism, there is a strong belief in the world of the spirits. So I'm walking you through some of the characteristics of Spiritism so that we consider how we have fared. So in Spiritism, number one, there is a strong belief in the world of the spirits and a strong reliance on the world of the spirits. So in our indigenous African setting, we believe in the world of the spirits and that there are two sides to the world of the spirits. We have the good spirits, that was God or the supreme being. And then we had the ancestors, and then these other gods, the god of fertility, the rain god, the stream god, water god, just name it. The god of iron. that we will activate when we are going for war. So we had the good spirits, and then we had the bad spirits. So the bad spirit then becomes the witches, the wizards, the devils, the demons, and those kind of stuffs. And this we knew and operated in even without the coming or before the coming of the white man. So in short, what happened was that we had a strong belief in the world of the spirits. And we interpreted every event from that perspective. So when there was a natural event, all natural events were interpreted from the world of the spirit. So that if there is a road accident, the natural thing to interpret it is that and then the car will somersault. Everything, if it is raining, in the indigenous mindset, we think that two gods are fighting. So the tears of the gods are the rains. That is myth. So one characteristic of, spiritism is that they are lovers of myth. And beginning of myth are things like, so many years ago, because they are not true stories, but we are trying to use mythological stories to explain natural happenings. Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology. And then when you come to, our context, the use of Anansi stories. So Anansi stories are not real stories. They are not historical. That is why we don't put a date to it. We say many years ago, or so many years ago, or once upon a time. So within people who are spiritists, they consider life to be essentially religious. They have an extreme belief in the world of the spirits. They interpret natural events from spiritual perspectives. So everything that happens in the natural is remote controlled from the world of the spirits. Again, because everything is considered to be spiritual, two activities are very predominant amongst them. One is that they undertake activities that will appease the gods or the good spirits. Because in their minds, their success in the material world is remote controlled from the world of the spirit. It is not so much of their hard work. It is not so much of their diligence. It is not so much of their commitment that will bring the breakthrough. But rather it is because the good spirits are on their behalf. So they will appease the gods. Be in the good book of God, or of the gods, or of the ancestors, and then of God. And then you are going to be successful. And then they curse the enemy. Please don't forget these two characteristics. Cursing the enemy consciousness, is very predominant in this mindset called spiritism. And on the other end, appeasing the gods. Sacrificing. So when you get amongst people like this, they are very religious. They are very religious. But this religion, get it very well. In spiritism, the goal of religion is not a transformation of mind or heart. The goal of religion in spiritism is to outsource an external strength in order to help me to reach or help me meet my needs. Get it very well. That is why you will come to Africa, the most religious continent, but still the most corrupt and then the poorest. And you may think, why are they so religious, but at the same time corrupt? Yes, because in spiritism, the goal of spiritism is not a transformation of one's life. The goal of spiritism, or the goal of religion in spiritism, is a transformation of needs, or to meet needs. Mepe awo, mepe visa, mepe akwantuo mon adom, mepe awarie, mepe juma, mepe school akọ, mepe scholarship. Na matese onyankopon bi wo hɔ a anase yen nananom ahonhom etumi eboa yen. Emma, the needs, the things that I want to do, I'll be able to reach it. So people in spiritism, they are using the spirits, the angels, God, gods, and the ancestors as a means of seeking protection and as a means of meeting their material needs. The goal of religion in spiritism is not a transformation of the inner man, that the person's heart and the person's mind will be transformed. There be. So let us put the pieces together. We will continue that narrative next week. But what we've said so far, let us put the pieces together. Spiritism. This was our culture. This was our worldview. This was our mindset before the coming of the white man. Africa, or we were densely in African traditional religion, which became the basis of our spiritism. And I said that in spiritism, there is an over-reliance on the world of the spirits. Or cultural exams are, or per anointed pen, or per miracle pen. If we said, the success in the exam is not so much of the person's ability in terms of what he has studied, but it is so much of the gods helping that very person. And you see this in our songs. You see this in our movies. You see this in our statements, in our maxims, our dictums, our wise sayings, our cultural languages. You are going to see these things there. God richly bless you for another edition of the SANKOFA Shift. We'll come your way again next week as we continue on the subject of spiritism, which presents as Africa's indigenous or traditional mindset. And we are going to do wonders with this topic. See you next week.